Okay, folks, we got the tuner off the chassis, and guess what? We got the waver switch and the band controls out of the chassis, along with some of the associated coils. These coils, I believe, are for the police band. One for the RF, one for the oscillator, and one for the antenna. This is the selectivity switch. We got the tuner all cleaned up. We've yet to still lubricate it. Yeah. If it seems like I'm brandining myself, I am. Actually, what it is when I pause like that and you don't get anything out of my mouth, I'm looking at the LCD screen on the phone to make sure that I'm pointing the phone and my finger at the same thing, and so consequently, while that task is being decided, my brain slips into neutral. So it's got a missing cog there. It just kind of jumps into neutral. We're going to go ahead and put this band switch back together, and then we'll get on to. I still yet to do a finish on this cabinet. We got her clean and scrubbed with the little wire brush, but there's film still left on the chassis, and I gotta go through and take off that, or try to minimize that film, get it some of the little tackiness off of it, so that we can go ahead and do a finish on the transformer casing and any final stuff on this. I don't want to have to take and do anything on the components mounted up on the top, like the cans for the coils, antenna, RF, oscillator, either of the two IF cans, or any of the original electrolytic capacitors cans. I'd like to keep them looking natural. They're not too much of an eyesore like they are. A good coating of clear on them will brighten them up, give them a little reflectivity. But the chassis, it looks like I'm going to have to do a finish on this, because it's not brilliant. It's not, well, I guess some of the hardcore people would want to elect to keep the chassis like an original, but I want the radios looking showroom ready. And when you take that back off and you expose it to people that are really interested in it, it gives much more pleasing. It's eye candy. That's really what it is. It's eye candy. Nothing embarrassing to show a nice radio with old stuff. It has to look like it's been restored. That's why I call it refurbished. Refurbished, in my term, would be better than, or improved, new and improved. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So let me get this thing put back together, and then we're gonna get on with the other tasks at hand, so we can get this thing going. I've yet to check the resistors and remove all the old capacitors on this. So stand by, there'll be more. Alrighty then, there it be. All nice and pretty-fied. So, we got all the lugs cleaned up, and we put a coating on all the tubes and the shafts, so that way it'll be easier to keep clean without stuff sticking to it. Well, it'll probably still stick, but it is done. So let it be written. So let it be done. Okay, moving on. We're gonna jump over to the to wiping the chassis down of its film. So hang on, there's gonna be more. Alright, we're moving right along here. Before we do anything more with the finish on the chassis, I wanted to get the caps taken care of. As we can see, all the waxies are gone in here. What I've left to do, now there are some resistors that I did this one here I got rid of because it wasn't even in spec, and I think it looked like it was getting hot. And if you recall in the picture that I showed from the guy who made the post to Antique Radio Forum, his was changed also. It's supposed to be 100K and it was like 1.1K, and it looked smoked, so I had to replace that one. This one over here, I had to replace that one. Those are the only two really. The other ones are within 10%. The only other thing I needed to get now is the electrolytic caps done. Let's see. I found me a 500K pot that I'm gonna take and put in place of the old one with the switch, because that switch and pot will come in handy, so to speak. Yeah. And I had this one here. I think I got this one from Gary at Playthings of Past, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, if maybe even longer than that, and I've had it all that time. This one over here, we're still gonna pull this and open it up and take a good look at it and see whether or not it's gonna perform good. Besides that, it needs to be cleaned up. Now I was working on this hump here. If you remember this camel hump, this thing was in there like that, and the one of the leads from the AC line was tied to it and ran up here to the switch, and then out of the switch back into the transformer. And it's supposed to be a 0.012 microfarad at 1,000 volts. I don't know why, but I'm going to put a Y cap in here, because all this is that stuff. And this is similar to what This is similar to what Philco packs in their Bakelite blocks. Their Bakelite blocks have something that's about half this size, and there's 2 of them because they go across. They go from hot and common to ground. This one here just goes from hot to ground. So consequently, one end you can see there is tied to this button here, lug, and the other end is grounded to the can, and then the can is riveted on, and they soldered it to get a good bond to the chassis. So and this here I peeled out of all of that thing with this and a little tiny screwdriver, and it came out relatively easy. So that is going to be where I'm going to put the I thought about putting a terminal strip in here and tying a Y2 cap in there and doing it that way, but since that is original equipment, I'm going to put that back in there with the Y cap in it, and it's going to get, I'm going to tap the holes for a screw, a fine thread screw, maybe an 8. I might have to go to a 10 so I can get threads on it, on the original holes, and we're just gonna screw it back in there. So or maybe we'll use screws and a bolt, a nut, screws and nut. Yeah, that way I can back these up because I can't get enough. I can't get enough thread on this little thin pot metal. So anyway, that was what we're doing on that. Checked all the resistors. They are all A-OK except for the ones that I showed you. Got the chassis brushed up in here a little bit. Got these back in order. Cut this line and went clear over to here. Here's the other end of it, and here's the end of it here, and I just bonded right there, and this is going to tie into the band switch whenever because I'm going to need one for the band switch, a ground for one of the wafers, and we're going to do that. So we're getting to the next level on this 4565 chassis. The tuner is cleaned up and ready to go. The dial mount, dial pan mount, and drum are cleaned up and they're ready to go back in. We've already seen the wafer switch. It's ready to go back in. I cleaned up this thing here, the selectivity switch, and it's cleaned up and ready to go. The coils for the police band are all ready to go back in. So we'll be able to get this thing here ready for a finish. Probably tomorrow or Sunday. The 532 sold yesterday. I'm going to have to get that into the works and get it out. And somebody just sent me an offer for the 439. I'm going to take a look at it, and it may go out of here Monday morning. So stay tuned. There's going to be more coming.